and welcome back to the second instalment of my top 40 games of all time. Today we're counting 30 through 21, so let's get started. At number 30 I have Operation Faust. Now this is a World War II themed bluffing game where players are trying to collect this stolen art before the Nazis can get hold of it. Now the theme is pretty pasted on, but the gameplay, and especially the bluffing aspect, is absolutely hilarious because you can go through the whole game without ever having the cards that you say you have, and it's just brilliant and so fun to see how long you can get away with it. And the fact that it plays 3 to 8 players is amazing, and at the higher player counts it works even better than it does at the lower player counts. Now, I've reviewed this for my channel before, so I recommend you check that out. But since then, I like this more and more and more, and it's really become a good favourite of mine, and also all the players in my group really enjoy this one. So a very simple bluffing game, but a great one. That's Operation Faust. At number 29, I have Splendor. Now, Splendor is a game where you're going to be collecting these poker chips and spending these poker chips to buy cards. Now those cards have points on them, which ultimately wins you the game, but what's interesting about it is that all the cards you buy give you discounts on other cards. So there's this real kind of engine building that goes into this. Again, I've reviewed this already for my channel, so check that out, but it's a super popular game and it serves fantastic as a gateway game, and because it's got a good amount of thinking and planning that goes into it, it's just a really solid design, and it's always gone down well with everyone I've played it with. So a super game, and one that you should definitely check out if you haven't done so. That's Splendor. At number 28, I have Letters from Whitechapel. Now this is a one versus all hidden movement game where one player is going to play Jack the Ripper and the others are going to play policeman. Now Jack the Ripper has to commit a murder and get back to his base within a certain amount of turns. And the policemen are trying to find where Jack the Ripper is and arrest him. Now, playing as Jack is super tense and requires one hell of a poker face because the other players are going to be discussing where they think you are, and if they're right, you have to be really stern and just not give anything away because anything could kind of give them a hint on where you are. Now, playing as the police is equally as fun and requires good cooperation and deduction and just working out all the variables where Jack could possibly be. It's a super smart game. The mechanics themselves are really simple, but they fit the game like a glove. It's just really elegant design. The production is really good, and I just love the theme of the game, and I just like playing it with my friends. So a really good fun game. One that I wasn't so keen on actually to start with, but the more I play it, the more and more I enjoy it, and a really solid design. So number 28 is Letters from Whitechapel. At number 27, I have Star Wars Rebellion. Now, this has to be one of the most epic games on my list. It's just, the scope of the game is really grand. You see all the different planets, you get to see basically all the theme from Star Wars is just embedded in every aspect of this game. So thematic. Basically, one player or one team is going to be the Empire with their vast resources, and they're going to be trying to find, locate and destroy the rebel base. Now the rebel base, the rebel team is a lot more kind of versatile and more agile than the Empire, so there's this kind of asymmetric theme to it, but the game just feels great. I mean, I'm personally not the biggest Star Wars fan. I like it a lot, but I don't love it, and this game just hooked me. It was so good. I heard a lot of people don't like the combat in the game, but I actually really enjoyed it. It's kind of based on dice rolling, but I really liked it. The miniatures are fantastic, and I just love the whole cat and mouse thing, constantly trying to pin down the rebels if you're the Empire, and I personally love being the Empire. It's just really good, so much theme. Honestly, this game is Star Wars in a box. Now, I haven't played any of the expansions or anything, and I've heard they're amazing. So I'm really looking forward to playing this more down the line. I haven't played it much, but what I have played, I've absolutely loved. So that's Star Wars Rebellion. At number 26, I have Shadows over Camelot. Now this is a great cooperative game with a traitor twist to it. Now throughout the game, you just, as a group, you're going to be trying to juggle a number of different quests. These quests are either won or lost by building poker hands, basically. And it just works really well. A really simple design. The mechanics are pretty simple. Every turn you're just going to be progressing evil by doing a number of different things that are going to make you lose, and counteracting that by doing a heroic action, which is ultimately going to contribute to the group winning. I love that it supports up to, I think, 7 or 8 players, so that's really good. And the traitor mechanic works really well, because what they can do to hurt the other players is just really subtle and clever ways, such as, you know, keeping back certain cards that are going to help you, or discarding powerful cards. It just works really well, and I love all games that have medieval themes, and this looks really medieval. The production is fantastic, and it's just a really nice game. That's Shadows over Camelot. At number 25, I have Versus System, the Marvel Battles. Now this is a great card game which helps you kind of recreate these epic superhero team-on-team battles. And if you love Marvel Comics, then you're going to absolutely love it, because the cards are so thematic. You know, every ability that these cards can do just fit that superhero so well. The game plays very, very similarly to Magic the Gathering, but the fact that it's all self-contained, it just creates such more balance and just a lot more fun. And I also love the fact that, you know, in Magic, when you're kind of fighting each other, you kind of have your own health points. In this, you have your own kind of leader amongst your cards, and you have to kind of protect your leader, know when to push and use his abilities. It's just really super fun, and one that I definitely recommend if you're a Marvel fan and have enjoyed Magic in the past. So a really great game, one that I think is really overlooked, and it actually works surprisingly well at 3 and 4 players as well, even though it is essentially a 2-player game, where it works a lot better at. But it's yeah, a great game, and as I said, very underrated. So my number 25 is Versus System, the Marvel Battles. At number 24, I have Colosseum. Now, Colosseum is a game about putting on these great productions in order to draw as many viewers as possible. Now, each player is going to have their own arena, and they're going to be trying to collect all these different tiles and put on these great shows. Now, Colosseum has several different mechanics that I absolutely love in games, including auctions, set collection, and even negotiation and trading. And those kind of parts come together in a fantastic game. And I just really enjoy the way that the game kind of flows. Now, what I really love about Colosseum is the scoring system, because what's interesting about it is throughout the game you're going to put on 5 shows. Now, only your best score amongst those 5 shows is going to count. So each round your scores aren't going to be added on to the last. As I said, only your best score counts. And that scoring mechanism works extremely well, and it's just a really interesting approach. I also have to say the production value of this game is unbelievable. Now, I have the Tasty Minstrel Games edition, which is not even supposed to be as good as the original edition, which is from Days of Wonder. But this edition I have, the Tasty Minstrel one, is absolutely amazing. The board is super thick. The coins you get are just metal, and they're really weighty. Just unbelievable quality. So overall, it's just an amazing game. Really enjoyable. Great player interaction with the trading and negotiation and the auctions. And I just love the game. It has a really, really nice vibe to it. So my number 24 is Colosseum. At number 23, I have One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Now, this is a great social deduction game that plays in about 5-10 minutes. And the fact that it's so accessible, it's easy to learn, easy to play along for new players. And I must have played this maybe 200 times. It's just so easy to get to the table, and everyone always loves it. There's no opportunity to lose interest in this, and it just plays really well. Now, this isn't actually my favourite social deduction game, but as I said, it's just the easiest to get to the table, and because it just plays so quickly. and it's always fun. It's always fun trying to lie and pretend that you're not the werewolf and convince others that someone else is lying and they're the werewolf. Just really simple game, but extremely clever the way that each role works with each other, and one that I recommend you check out if you haven't already, because it's one of those games where I can't imagine somebody not liking. I also like the Daybreak edition, the Daybreak expansion, or I guess it's a standalone expansion, but it works really well with the original. I wasn't so keen on the vampire one, but that's why that's not on my list, I guess. So One Night Ultimate Werewolf is my 23rd best game of all time. At number 22, I have Flam Rouge. Now, this is actually the only racing game I've probably ever played, but I just absolutely love the simple mechanics of this game. And I'm not remotely interested in the Tour de France or cycling in any way, but the fact the game includes simultaneous card play, and the way that the slipstream mechanic works in this is phenomenal. So basically, everyone's going to have two riders, a roller and a sprinter. The roller's going to be a bit more steady, where the sprinter's going to be able to go a bit faster, but can go a bit slower as well. Now, it's kind of a reverse deck building game, because every time you're going to be playing a card, you're going to be discarding that card, and these cards determine how many spaces you move on the board. And these tracks, I have to say, are really interesting as well, because you can build your own with the modular kind of track bits, and you can just make some really fun and wacky tracks. As I said, it's just predicting what other players are going to play and trying to slipstream behind them, so you don't take the brunt of the resistance from being in front of the pack, because whenever you're in front of a pack at the end of a turn, you're going to take an exhaustion card into your deck, which are ultimately going to make you move slower as the game progresses. Just so simple, really elegant, and it's been a huge hit with everyone I've played with. I can't imagine I'd ever turn a game of this down. It's just so enjoyable, really streamlined, and just a fantastic game. Even if you're not remotely interested in cycling as I am, just a great racing game. And always close from start to finish. So I really recommend you check this one out. I'll be putting a review up soon. So that's Flam Rouge. At number 21, and my final game for today, is Dead of Winter. Now, this is another cooperative game where there is the possibility of being a traitor. Now, this game is all about survival. Yes, it has the zombie theme, which is not really one that I'm interested in particularly, but the whole survival aspect really comes through in this. Because each time you're going to be really struggling for food, trying to feed the colony. You're going to be venturing out in the cold wilderness, trying to not get frostbite or try to be attacked by zombies, rummaging through shops trying to find supplies. Just the theme of this game is absolutely spectacular. And they've really gone to that extra level through the use of those crossroads cards. Because each time you take your action, another player is going to have a crossroad card. And if you do something that triggers the trigger ability on that card, then that player is going to read out a bit of narrative and going to make you make some really tough decisions. It's just a really top level game, this is. And if you do love zombies, you're going to absolutely love this game. One of those games that's really hard to find fault with. The game comes with several different scenarios, which are all really different, and the production's really good. You get these nice standees, and the characters really kind of come to life, and you become quite attached to them. You can, at least. Just again, a really well-rounded game, one that's really hard to find fault with, and a real worthy number 21 best game of all time. So that's Dead of Winter. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed that last instalment of my top 40 games of all time. I thought there was a really cool variety of games in there, loads of different themes, loads of different mechanics, and those games, I just absolutely love them all. So I'll join you next time when I'm going to be counting down my number 20 to number 11. So we're getting into the real juicy part now. So I look forward to that, and I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.